sad because you can't draw sad faces. Well, today we're going to change all that and do this super sad crying girl project. And if you're here today and wondering what this channel is all about, I'm here to tell you that I am here to support you on your artistic journey, regardless of your background and skill level. And we're going to have a blast each and every Friday with new videos. So I'm going to start with just the oval, guys, like we always do. And then right away, I'm going to get into some face shape kind of carving. And you can make that face shape and carve that out however you like. She can have a very oval chin. Today, she has a square jaw. So draw as you like, and please draw along with me. I'm always putting my guidelines in. They tell me exactly where everything is lined up and needs to go. And my proportions are pretty whimsical, so I usually do 3 across for the eyes. And I'm making my ovals for the eyes today very squinted because this girl is upset and crying, so she's having a hard time with her wide-eyed look, and she's keeping her eyes very closed because there's some tears that are eking out, okay, which we'll get to. So right now we're gonna make them more closed than they normally would. And as you can see, the iris is really a full circle that you crop off, and her eyelids are going to be very close to her eyes. And they're going to have that sharp line, not sharp, but that curved line, which is very different than the normal gracefully sloped large eyelids that I normally draw. And if you notice, the eyebrows, right, go up in the center and then they taper down towards the side of the face. And those expression lines between the eyebrows are very important. You don't need a lot of expression lines to create a lot of expression. So you don't need to go crazy with this, but it is good to have a little indication that she is furrowing her brow because she's so sad. Okay, so then we have our nose when we're sketching in our mouth as well, and her lips are going to be just slightly parted because she's so upset and she's been crying, so that's why you can just leave that space between the upper and lower lip. Gives exaggerated expression as well. And we're going to add some more expression lines. This is the face, this whole series of expressions that I'm drawing the most expression lines for. And just a little goes a long way. So you don't need to go crazy again. But if you want to have that indication and really show the expression, you're going to want to have a little bit of a crease on the side of the nose. I'm also putting her there's a lot of extra lines today that I normally don't have on our smiling or dead face girls. So as you can see, between the brow, under the eyes, on the side of the nose. And hairstyles, always just kind of a crapshoot, trying something different today. I do a lot of long-haired girls, so I thought we would change it up and do a little stacked bob. Perhaps I've actually had this haircut. So that's just another hair variation. And as always, you just start with the part, go up and over the oval of the head, and then down across the forehead to give it some volume. And once I have my lines where I want them to go in graphite, I just switch to my Sharpie. This whole series of expression girls are in Sharpie. For actually not really a particular reason. I just enjoy working with Copic markers on these, and I'm going to use my shaded gray scale to do the shading. The gray scale in Tombos and Copics is a great way to teach shading because you're really just taking it one value at a time, starting with the lightest value and then getting darker and darker to add drama. So if you notice in a moment, after I'm done going over the outlines for everything, I'm going to start with the lightest gray. Once I'm done erasing everything, and then I'm just going to do darker and darker shades of gray until she's all done. And every time I do a darker shade of gray, I'm going to be going closer and closer to the face, and my areas of shading get smaller and smaller, and that's how you end up with this really pretty gradation of shading. So as you can see, I'm starting with my lightest first, and this is a Copic sketch, and I'm drawing on actually cover stock, which is very similar to Bristol. The paper matters greatly in art, as I'm sure you know. I get this question a lot, and you really want to, when you're working with alcohol-based markers like Sharpies and Copics, you want your paper to be very smooth, very hard. Do not use watercolor paper. It will suck the ink right out of your markers, and they're very expensive, as I'm sure you know. So you do not want to waste one splash of ink for these. So I'm using, this is the second layer of my shading, and if you notice, the areas I'm shading now are slightly smaller than my first, and that again causes that appearance and of gradation, which when you're all done, it's a really, really beautiful and soft effect. So my areas get smaller and smaller as I go darker and darker. Here's a third layer, and again I'm coming in. So if you want to invest in a grayscale set, it's a great way to learn this shading technique. And it kind of takes the thought process out of it. So you just do a whole family of grays or skin colors. It can be any family, really. And you just get dark. You get slowly get darker, and your shading areas become smaller and smaller until the gradation that you're looking for is complete. And if there's a rough transition between any of your layers, just go back with the lighter color like I'm doing now and run your marker over those areas that are not pleasing you. And this comes out to be much more realistic than I usually tend to do my girls in. Yeah, I feel like I took her a little bit more seriously because she is so serious. She sort of forced me to stop messing around so much and to get serious it up a little bit. So I'm just taking the lightest shade of gray, and I'm running it between the layers. And again, it just softens the transition between the dark and the light. And then, of course, this is my favorite technique for doing hair, when I do dark at the roots and the tips, and then I gradation it towards the center where there's a nice highlight. So yeah, and then lastly, the last step always is taking my white paint pens, and I'm using a white Posca pen. In the description box, you'll find the link to all of my favorite supplies and the supplies for these projects that I've been doing. And make sure at the end of this video, make sure you click the playlist. If you want to do more expressions, there's a link to a playlist which has all my expression faces included in there, so you can practice doing the different expressions, sad, surprised, worried, sultry, and that will get take your faces really to the next level. So if you're really tired of making girls that have no expressions, then it's a great idea to just practice different ones, and then you just get to know the human face so much better, and just a little bit of expression really goes a long way to taking your art to the next level. Just adding in some strands of hair to make it look a little bit more realistic with my big Sharpie. And yeah, I'm really happy with the way that she turned out, and I really hope that you share them in my Facebook group, and I will see you in the next video.